Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new to this series, let me tell you how it works. I listened to albums throughout this week, some new ones, some older ones. I picked the ones I want to give my opinion on and review them in this video. Remember, my opinions are mine and mine only, and you may have a different opinion. So don't take anything I say too seriously. Now let's head on to the first album of today's episode. The first album of today's video will be Black Ice by AC/DC. It had many good songs on the album and many good beats all around. War Machine had the best use of beats in the entire album in my opinion, and the better song from this album is Black Ice. This album was great, and for some reason online this album does receive a lot of hate. I don't get where it comes from. This album is great. So if you haven't listened to this, give it a chance, ignore the online hate. Next is Rock or Bust by AC/DC. Just like the last album, this had many good songs and great beats all around. I did see that online many people do not like this album, just like the previous album. So, reminder, these are my opinions, so if you don't agree with what I'm saying, they're my opinions. Throw your opinions in the comment section. My standout songs from this album are Dogs of War and Get Some Rock and Roll Thunder. Next is Haram by Hammer and The Alchemist. This album was amazing and one of the best Alchemist albums that I've heard. I know that I glaze Alchemist a lot, but he once again cooked with the production on the album. Also, Armand was amazing on this album and he did amazing work on this project. I definitely recommend you listening to this album if you get the chance. My standout song from this album is Falling Out the Sky. And to back up my glazing, many people online do believe that this album should have won Rap Album of the Year, the year it was dropped. And on And on Album of the Year website, this album is a must-listen album. So that backs up my glazing for The Alchemist and Hammer for this album. It was a great album. Go listen to it. Stop wasting your time. Next is The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift, and oh my god, this shit was ass. The lyrics were terrible, and online I have seen many people, including Swifties, going to war with each other due to how bad this album was. I don't remember any of the songs' names, but there were 2 or 3 songs that had good beats production. But lyrically wise, this was terrible by Taylor Swift, from someone who can pay anyone to be her ghostwriter. Whoever she paid for this album did shit. And never pay for them again, Taylor. You can do way better than this. And this is coming from someone who hates you, and I especially hate your husband. Fuck them Chiefs, go Raiders. Not husband, I meant fiance, same thing. Next is Now With My Heart on Night of the Release, and it's Melt by Not For Radio, aka Maria Zardoya from The Marias. I do plan to come back with a deeper-ish review next week, but for my first listen, this album was amazing. I enjoyed it very much, and she should be proud of how well she did on this project of hers. Of course, it is her step. I don't know. Okay. I follow the Marias. I keep up with them, right? I bought this vinyl the moment I was able to start buying vinyls again, right? Because I stopped for a little bit, but luckily, I was able to do what I had to do, and I was able to pre-order this vinyl, so I got it. She did amazing, right? Obviously, hopefully, another Maria's album comes out soon, but she did do amazing on this album, and I can't wait to see what else she does in the future. Next is Freewave 2 by LUCKI, and this was another amazing album. LUCKI did a great job with this project, and he cooked. This album was also beautifully produced, and many people should go listen to this if you haven't so already. And online, I do see it's weird because I use 2 different review websites as apps, and usually most of the time they're pretty spot on equal with each other. This is the one where I think Music Board people were giving this album like it was averaging a 3.1, but then you head over to Album of the Year and it's like averaging somewhere in the 70s or 80s. So there's this album very divided by people online from what I could tell, but it was a great listen, and go check it out if you haven't so already. Next is Man on the Moon Volume 2 by Kid Cudi. This album was another amazing album. This was such a good album, and it had many good songs. It was a fun listen, if that makes sense. I enjoyed listening to it. I can't say dancing because I was on my bed when I was listening to this album, but I was like moving my head. That's what I'm bobbing my head around. This album was great. Transitions were great on this album as well. Kid Cudi is an amazing artist. Sucks that he is retiring, but if you feel like it's time, it's time. And what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I also do have 4 standout songs from this album, and they are Don't Play This Song, Erase Me, Mr. Rager, and All Along. and also by Kid Cudi is Indicud. This album had great production and was another great listen. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this week I listened to many great albums. The beats were truly amazing on this album, and the songs were even better. My standout songs are Unfuckable, I think is how I pronounce it, Just What I Am, and Solo Dolo Part 3. This was a great album. I'm happy that I'm listening to Kid Cudi right now because so far his stuff is amazing. Or the only downside is that they are pretty long albums, but we'll talk more about that in Yap Time. And lastly is Sincerely PS by Kali Uchis. And this album was perfect. There's not much else I can say about this album. This entire album was a vibe, and the transition from song to song was even better. This was another great album by her, and you should go listen to this album if you have the chance to do so, as the album is over an hour long. My standout songs are For You, Lose My Cool, and Cry About It. And that is it for the video. My honorable mentions for this video are Power Up by AC/DC, The Food Villain by The Alchemist, Carry the Fire by The Alchemist, This Thing of Us by The Alchemist, Freewave 1 by LUCKI, Watch My Back by LUCKI, and Satellite Flight by Kid Cudi. And now, let me tell you why all these honorable mentions ended up being honorable mentions. Power Up, it happened to be a 50-50. I don't review 50-50 albums. I just don't think I can do anything long enough. I know this video, they're a lot shorter, but I'm doing this on purpose because it's more, I guess, to keep y'all's attention. The mics are not beautiful and gameplay is surely not the best. And quality is not the best, but I need to keep your attention, and by keeping my reviews nice and short, it's good. But I'm still gonna stand by my own rule of if it's a 50-50, I will not review it. Next, The Food Villain by The Alchemist. The reason this was a honorable mention was because it's an instrumental album. I still don't feel like I'm good enough to review for instrumental albums. One thing though, song Lamb Sauce was a fire song. And also, people online hate this album a lot because they were expecting MF Doom to be on this album. And I looked up stuff about this album. He never mentioned that MF Doom was gonna be on here. Right. This album is amazing. Just stop saying that MF Doom not being on this album ruined it, because he wasn't supposed to be on this album. I don't know where people got that from. Next, Carry the Fire. So this so happened to be a DNR, was not a DNR, a honorable mention, an honorable mention due to it also being another instrumental album. It was another great album. Like I said, I just don't feel like I'm good enough yet to be reviewing instrumental albums. Next, also by The Alchemist, This Thing of Ours by The Alchemist. The only reason this ended up on honorable mentions was because it's short. Yes, if you look it up, it says 8 songs, but 4 of them are the actual songs and the other 4 are instrumental, and it's just not long enough for me to give it a review, right? Because it's just 4 songs. But I do recommend going to go listen to these 4 songs, as they're all good. They all have different features. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but all the features were amazing. And Freewave 1 by LUCKI, I just felt okay about most of the songs. Didn't really have much to say about them. The production on the first song, Freewave 1, was great, but that's about it for this album, in my opinion. Give me a second. Then Watch My Back by LUCKI ended up on here because, just like I said earlier, it ended up being a 50-50, and I don't review 50-50. Oh, by 50-50, I mean I had an opinion on 50% on the songs, and the other 50, there was no opinion about them. And lastly, Satellite Flight by Kid Cudi ended up on honorable mentions because, weirdly enough, it ended up being too short for a review because 3 of the songs were, what's it called? Were either instrumentals, and then so that's what killed it, because it's a 10 song album, but since 3 were instrumental, it drops down to 7, and that ended up being a 50-50 album. So the instrumentals low-key made this album land here. And that is it for the honorable mentions. And now it's time for my standout albums of the week. For those of you who don't know what this means, I picked either 1 or 2 albums that I think stood out to me the most from this entire week of me listening to albums. And the first one, of course, has to go to Sincerely PS by Uchis. And, well, This album landed on the spot mainly due to how amazing it was, and this has to be one of her top albums in her entire career. Fight me. I genuinely think that this is some of her best work that she has done. Right? You could argue for some of her other albums, but in my opinion, this is the best work that she has done, and this is her best album. And the second album of this week, the second standout album of this week, goes to Man on the Moon, Volume 2 by Kid Cudi. This was another beautiful album that I heard this week. The production for sure carried this album, placing it up on this spot. But I'm not taking away any credit away from Cudi, as he also did amazing on, singing, rapping, whatever it is he does. And this album had pretty much a zero misses. I think only like two of the songs I have an opinion about, but they weren't bad. This entire album hits. It's a vibe. Go listen to both of these albums. That's your homework. Go listen to both of these albums. And that's it. It's time for Yap Time. First things first, the reviews were a lot shorter, a lot faster, because I'm trying to keep up more up paced, just so it picks up better with the algorithm. I'm trying to keep this video shorter. So something I said earlier is it's an hour-long album, which I don't like. So what I meant by that is because it was my fault. I like albums that are around an hour. And the albums, I think the perfect album length is anywhere between 35 minutes to an hour. Perfect. But what killed me was because I wasted so much time this week. Like, this video is late. It's outside my safety net. I give myself some Mondays. I'm editing this, recording this on a Tuesday. It's going to go up around 1:30 a.m. EST on a Tuesday. Technically, on the west coast of the United States, it's still Monday, so I'm on cue for them. For those on the west coast, this video is perfect. It's perfect, right before the cutoff. But my time zone, I messed up. I wasted too much time this week. I had a lot of free time this week. I just wasted a lot of it doing who knows what. But because I had to cram in so many albums near the end, I just got annoyed by how long some of the albums were, but I didn't mean any sense. And also, I'm not going to be doing these 50-50s, because even though, yes, I am making shorter reviews for the videos, it still doesn't make sense because I just don't have nothing to talk about. I dead ass would be saying, I liked 5 songs, and the other 5 songs I didn't care about. I know I do that already, but it's usually like 2 or 3 songs, right? It's never like, oh, I liked 6 out of the 10, right? It's like, oh, it's 1 over half. I can review this. No, I won't do that. And is there anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else for me to mention. Oh, I'm back with W. W is back with being partnered with the channel. That's cool. If you want to check out anything using my link, it'll be down in the description, or you can just use code TrainDavid to get yourself a natural discount. And my other socials will also be down in the description of the video. And I'm trying to think of anything else. And no, that is it for today's video. It is very late. If you're on the East Coast, this past my safety net. If you're on the West Coast, it's perfect. It's this under your safety net. Hopefully this week won't go this far. I do plan to actually listen to the albums during my free time and not, be stupid. Oh no, now I know what killed me. So I pretty much have, I now know. It's not Yap Time, it's the outro, but I don't care. I had to work extra hours. That's what happened. Because Saturday I ended up staying later than expected. And then I got home from work at around 4. And then had to do my online school, my college work, which I wasted that until 8 p.m. And I was tired as hell. And I decided to play video games instead of music. So right? And then and then Sunday, I worked the entire day. I was supposed to get out at 2. But manager didn't pull up, so I had to stay till close. And then yesterday, I had to work all day again. Damn. Paycheck's gonna be nice. My legs killing me though. And speaking about legs, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. And just like always, practice your running man.